In this video, we're going to go through a really simple way to learn how to stack your rib cage over your pelvis. A lot of my clients struggle with learning how to do this because they get stuck in a really far forward position where their ribs are flared and we might be in what we call an open scissors posture or position. I want to remind you that if you're watching this, that position or that posture is not bad, and what I'm going to show you is not necessarily good, but teaching a lot of my clients how to get out of it is a very important part in their rehab, and also it can be helpful in anybody who is lifting heavy, especially when they are needing to learn on creating better intra-abdominal pressure for core stability. So the simple way that I usually have people work on this skill or this exercise is using a mirror to start and looking at themselves from the side. We want to make sure we're not doing is hyperextending the knees. We want to have soft knees. I don't want you to squat, but I want them to be soft, not locked out. And then step number 2 is going to be placing your hand on the small of your back, below bra strap line, but not just quite on your pelvis. So right in between there. Then usually what I'll have people do is take a breath in and exhale and shift their body back. So now you can see that my knees and hips and shoulders and head are a little bit more aligned, and I'm not in front of my body anymore. I'm back and stacked a little bit better. The exhale is going to help you get your rib cage down and back. And we're going to get back into that position, and you should feel that you're kind of pressing into your hand. When a lot of people do this, they don't shift their whole bodies back. They just think about down, which ends up crunching down, and we lose height in our skeleton. We want to make sure that we do not lose height in our skeleton. We stay tall. We just are simply pulling our ribs back into this hand and maybe getting our pelvis up a little bit from here, but we want to avoid crunching, squatting, and squeezing our glutes. I have a whole blog on this if you want to read my blog to explain this a little bit more in depth, but that is the basis of how to get out of this position. And we want to start with a mirror, have a little bit of practice, a lot of reps in an unloaded position, and then eventually we want to practice with weight. And the best way to practice with weight is going to be holding weight here, so you can use the weight to pull yourself back, versus weight here, which is going to put you into that position that is already something you're trying to get out of. So make sure that you start without any weight, using a mirror, and just have lots of reps in getting into that position where we aren't squeezing and holding a lot of tension. It should be a really gentle shift in our body weight, feeling our weight distribute from our toes to more even between our heels and our mat heads across our toes or the balls of our feet, rather than forwards on our toes. So we want to feel those heels, feel the balls of our feet, shift back, feel a little bit of a rib cage down. Once you get used to practicing this with a mirror, you can practice going in and out of it. Then you can practice staying in it and just practice breathing and maintaining that position. Then from there, you can practice with your weights in your warm-ups, lighter loads, and then eventually kind of implement it into heavier loads with lifting. This is not supposed to be a posture we stay in all the time and walk around, not able to move. Again, it is context specific. This is a skill that we want to practice a lot, so we can have it as an option, and then we definitely want to use it for things like loading our squats in the future. So make sure this is not the end-all be-all. This is just something you want to practice, but it does take a lot of reps up front, so be very patient with yourself. It will take a lot of mental effort at first. Progress with this is usually going to look like I didn't have to think as hard. I was able to do it a little bit more quickly. It didn't take me 20 reps to get the hang of it. Those kinds of things are what we're looking for. So make sure you're patient and also consistent over time, because it takes a long time to learn a new skill, and then eventually you should be able to implement it with your squats and things like that.